Hey there, troopers. This is Random Game Channel, and I'm back with some more gameplay tips for Starship Troopers Extermination. So this time I'm going to be talking about two general trains of thoughts for building a base. Now I kind of want to start this off in buffer, which you kind of saw in my previous video. So for those of you that are in project management and or trying to get a little more experience in using Kanban, definitely recommend using Buffer, which is a nice tool that goes well with Blue Sky. Helps you schedule posts in advance and plan out what you want to do. So this is the stuff that I kind of have things off to the side, stuff that's just kind of like thinking about. I don't know if I want to, work on it, if it's like something that's possible at this time. But what I'm looking at, what I just finished was the Weapon XP and Class XP video. But now we're on to this one. So, what do I mean by, let me update this here. Two general trains of thoughts for building a base. What do I mean by that? So first of all, these are my thoughts and opinions. I can always be wrong, and there will always be other people that have different thoughts and opinions. That's perfectly okay. There's more than one way to build a base, but this is what I think when I think of base building. Right. Generally, there's two camps. There's going to be one camp where you're going to be building the base immediately around either the mobile HQ, if you're playing on Horde, or what's the other one? No, mostly just Horde, because that's the key structure you need to defend. Or you're going to be building immediately around the Arc, which is going to be the key structure you want to defend in Advanced and Secure AAS Arc mode, and yeah, I think that's about it. So that's one train of thought, where you want to build up immediately around that key structure, and then from there you expand the base. The other train of thought is that I don't know if I have it listed down here. Do I have it? Oh yeah. I'll go into more of these details in just a moment. But the other one is where you build the shell of the base, the perimeter, and then from there you expand inwards towards the core of your base, where those key structures are. And there's pros and cons to each of these methods, but each one works. Sometimes they fail. That's perfectly okay. We're not always going to win. Sometimes the bugs need to win too, okay? Yeah, that's what we're looking at for this video. But before we can go into those details, we need to kind of first talk about things that can get in the way when you're building the base, alright? So these following items here, you want to place them last. First one on this list, ammo crates. Ammo fabricators. This is the stack of ammo that you use to reload the twin MG emplacement and the auto sentry turrets. Next one is first aid stem fabricator, speed stem fabricator, shock beacons, mobile shield wall. This is the utility that you can deploy as the Guardian, that little shield wall thing Not their class ability, but the small shield that they can build. Next one is the Guardian's mini turrets. The demolition charges, proximity mines, and last of all, the one you can't really control, bug corpses. So all these things here will get in the way of building the base. Try to save these for last, because if they get in the way, they can be pretty hard to get rid of. For example, proximity mine. There's no way to get rid of them if the engineer doesn't pick them up. Same thing for demolition charges. Same thing for guardians turrets. Mobile shield wall. I don't know. Maybe you can dismantle it. Shock beacons. All these fabricators. You can destroy them with explosions. However, with the ammo fabricator and the ammo crate, you can't destroy them, you have to consume the ammo. Ammo crate, you can just simply get rid of them by shooting your weapon once, reload, and then rearm. Do that over and over until all 10 charges are gone. Ammo fabricator, I think you can dismantle this. Yeah, I think you can. Memory serves me right. But all this stuff, to get rid of them, is gonna take time. And depending on the game mode and the situation you're in, if like there's patrols, or not patrols, but like ambushes, things like that, good luck. Every second counts in those situations. More so in horde mode, because you get limited, very, very limited amount of time to build. And bug corpses, depending on the bug, it can take multiple hits for it to be destroyed. Like tigers, for example, that can take more than 2 hits from your melee to destroy them. But also that depends on if you're playing the engineer. Most other classes aren't going to be able to get rid of them that easily. Alright. So now we got the, these details out of the way. Let's talk about the build core as the idea 1, and then idea 2 is the outer shell. After that, after we go over the kind of like the verbal and the text descriptions, we're going to go back into the game. We're going to go to my favorite place, the VR training simulator. I hope the devs never get rid of that. I hope it stays there indefinitely, because I do a lot of my gameplay tips videos in there. Alright, it's a great place to test things out. Alright, so just stick with me a little bit longer and buffer, and then we're going to jump over to the game. Something cool to watch after that. Alright. Alright, so idea number 1, the first general train of thought is build the core. What do I mean? Alright, so if you're playing on Arc mode, you want to build around the Arc, because once the Arc is destroyed, that's it, game over, you just lost. And you're probably going to be a little upset because you lost, right? So build up around this thing first, right? Trust me, you want to do that. On the other side, if you're playing Horde, Horde mode, you want to build up around the mobile HQ. Again, once it's destroyed, that's it. That game's over, man. So, trust me, you want to build up around mobile HQ. There's no way to repair it either. On Arc mode, you do have the opportunity to spend ore to repair the Arc. But not on Horde mode. Mobile HQ, there's no way to repair it. Okay? So that's the main idea behind build the core. So what do you build around it? Definitely not electrical fences. Alright. Some people build electrical fences around it, thinking it's gonna save the bacon, this and that. I'll try to link my older video for my base building structures and durabilities video, explaining how each structure is more or less durable than the other. Frame of reference. I'm pretty sure everyone's seen a short wall and how the bugs just pretty much gobble it up in seconds. The short wall is as durable as an electrical fence. Not very durable. Here it shocks and stuns the bug. When there's a ton of bugs, they're all gonna get through and they're all gonna eat up that fence like it's chocolate. Okay. So what do you build? Generally you want to build 4 walls around it with the ledges sticking outwards. Or at least what I like to do recently is 3 regular walls with the catwalks pointing outwards and 1 pointing inwards. And I'll show you that in the video. Reports are that the bugs are attracted to gates again, so you don't actually want to build a gate next to the Ark or the mobile HQ, because that's going to actually attract the bugs to it, and that's something you don't want, because that's the thing you want to keep alive. Alright, so that's something that I kind of went back on in regards to my old gameplay tips videos for like how to build the base. Alright, don't do that. You don't want the bugs wanting to go and eat the thing you're trying to defend. Alright. So usually I like to do that setup or replace one of the walls with like a bunker. I mean, the bugs are geared to be attracted to bunkers, but the bunker can take some beating, can take some punishment, because it has the highest durability in the game besides the Ark and mobile HQ. So once you have like, you know, your core set up and built, that's when you can start expanding, making those layers that you always see. Layers are good. You don't really see the other method anymore, which is like that they called centralized build or whatever. I forget what I called it, but basically what you see nowadays is multiple walls are set up. You could think of it as multiple rings within the base are built up until you get like this honeycomb effect. And it's great for containing breaches, slowing down the bugs. Sometimes it can be excessive, but it does make a difference. Because if the bugs are punching real hard in one section, you have multiple layers. It's going to give you hopefully enough time to repel them and rebuild that section of the base. Tangent aside, coming back to this point here, with the build a core train of thought, it's going to be easier to recover from an ambush during the initial build phase and continue building around the key structures. Why? Because if you're quick enough, you can surround your key structures, either the Ark or mobile HQ, with some walls and stuff, and if the walls do get completely destroyed, all you need to do is take the mobile build tool and just rebuild them again. The footprint will still be there. You don't have to like place something new, which is convenient. Because if you didn't have the core built up and the bugs have somehow managed to die right next to the Ark or the mobile HQ, That's going to take precious seconds away, having to destroy their corpses. Okay. It's not easy to destroy the corpses sometimes because it can take multiple hits with your melee if you're using your knight. So if you're playing on, for example, Horde, and you're like trying to get the base built up and bugs ambush you, that's taking a lot of time away from building the structures up. The first wave, you get maybe a minute or so, maybe minute 30 to build, which is fine because there shouldn't be any bugs. Okay, but when you're in the middle of the game, like wave 5, and you still haven't built the core up, but your base keeps getting breached and you keep rushing your key structure, then you're never going to be able to recover. What about if you're playing on Advanced and Secure? If you didn't build around the arc and they keep slamming your position, wave after wave of bugs, infernos, grenadiers, they're locking everybody down. You're not going to be able to really build around the key structure, and that's it. You kind of lost the game, right? So that's like one of the key advantages to building the core, right? So again, destroying those bug corpses can mean having a built structure or having nothing at all. So yeah. Alright, moving on though. This is easier to plan base construction around these central key structures because because how I see it is that if you're building the perimeter of the base, right, sometimes all the all the ore gets used up, and people have already built up this big, extravagantly large base with minimal layers. And then from there, it's kind of hard to plan out, where can I, deconstruct walls in order to get some resources back to build something to defend or protect the core structure. So if you can just get the central pieces down first, then it can be a little bit easier to plan the rest of the base out, build those kill zones and things like that. For me, I kind of like to think of it as it's easier to build going outwards than inwards, because if you already got your shell built, it's going to be kind of hard to compartmentalize, or you can think of it as creating honeycombs in your base because everything's already defined, right? This is what the base is going to be, in its max extent. And the next thing here is once you build around your core, you don't have to worry about building too much more around it. Just go ahead and start getting maybe 1 or 2 layers up, and then the perimeter. That's it. You're good to go. This is the most basic level base building goes, right? However, one of the disadvantages with build the core idea is that if your position is constantly getting hammered by the bugs, you're constantly under pressure. Bugs keep dying. You can't really clear up the corpses. It's going to be very hard for the team to expand because the bugs are just constantly getting in your face, and you're having to spend time to get rid of the corpses in order to build something. Because you can't build structures on top of corpses. That's just how it just works in the game, right? So that's one disadvantage of build a core. You might get the idea that I prefer building around the core first, which is what I believe in. I absolutely believe in building the core of the base first, because I want that wall to be up so that if things hit the fan, which it always does in this game, just like any kind of like fighting doctrine that people will talk about, things will always hit the fan. You kind of want to have something to depend on, which is those last 4 walls of the base. That's the thing you want to depend on. And for me, that kind of train of thought has worked very well. But of course, that's just my thoughts and opinions. There's always, different way to approach base building. Alright, there's a lot of different ways you can approach it. Alright, so general train of thought idea number 2, the outer shell. Oftentimes, it gets too big too fast, leaving nothing left to build layers in the base. This is more critical for if you're playing on Horde mode and Arc mode, because your amount of ore that you have available to you is very finite. In Arc you can always mine for some more ore, but that takes time. And while you're doing that, the bugs are attacking that refinery, bugs are attacking the base, and yeah, a lot of chaos ensues, right? Gotta build, repair, maybe repair the Arc, that takes ore. Ammo crates, that takes ore. And that's kind of what happens when you build a base that's too big, right? Bugs will slip through, and then if the bugs slip through and the troopers aren't on top of it, they start attacking the Arc or the mobile HQ, and then if you kill them, most likely they're going to be right next to it. It's going to take time to clear out their corpses, which means time taken away from building more structures, okay? Again, this is more critical for Horde mode and Arc mode. It's a little bit more forgiving on Advanced and Secure, because you're not really fixed to a small pool of resources. Yeah. What else? Oh yeah, well, I kind of already mentioned this, but like, people who like to build the outer shell first, sometimes they just get in the zone, and then once they've done their thing and they look back at the inside of the base, you got nothing. A lot of empty space. Mobile HQ or the Arc is sometimes completely exposed with nothing guarding it. And most times what I've seen with these large bases with a large outer shell, just one layer. What happens when your one and only layer is breached? Bugs pour in. You have nowhere to jump on top of, and the bugs are just going to slurp you. Reinforcement tickets get consumed, and then the bugs are going to rush Mobile HQ and Arc. And if you don't rally fast enough and hard enough, you just lose. There you go. Okay, you want to win, you don't want the bugs to win, right? So when the bugs do slip through, troopers will need to be really on top of like bug corpse management. You don't want them to stack up. It's cool for like ha-has and memes and stuff like that, But in order to successfully complete that match, you want to keep the bug corpses to a minimum, because it takes time to clear their corpses. Obviously, I've been saying that a lot. Second of all, it blocks your line of sight. Blocks line of sight for twin MG emplacements and the auto sentry turrets. So it's a lot of issues that can pop up if you don't clear those things, besides not being able to build structures and things. And that just, makes the game unnecessarily harder. Like, this game can be pretty difficult as it is sometimes with the mutators. So why artificially handicap yourself like that, right? When you can just try to be a little more proactive in the game. Alright. From my standpoint, from what I understand and experienced in this game so far, this game is about efficiency and how best to manage your resources when it comes to base building and defense of the base. Alright. Kind of maybe write that down somewhere, take a screenshot of that, because I feel like that's the core of what makes this game unique. I haven't seen any other game with this kind of like, I guess, resource management in a cooperative environment. Alright. Okay, so moving on to the next point here. I know these are kind of jumbled around, crisscrossing and all that, but I kind of just was typing these things out as it was coming to me. Alright, so this one says, it's harder to build internal layers if no one manages bug corpses in the base. If like a team is ambushed at all during the initial build phase, it could be difficult to just build. And if there's no one on top of it, this issue can snowball out of control, and if multiple waves are not cleared out, then it's going to be almost impossible to recover. So yeah, I'm looking at those demolitionists and engineers. If you aren't clearing those bug corpses, it's going to make the game a little bit harder. Because you guys, well, I shouldn't say you guys, I should make it a little more neutral. I should just say you troopers who are playing those classes, that's kind of like your job. Clear out those corpses so that the rest of the team can erect defenses and structures and things like that. Yeah. Alright, so that's enough with the verbal and text explanation. So let's just swing on over to the game, and we'll pay another visit to the VR training simulator. See you in a little bit. Alright, troopers, I'm in the VR training simulator now. I'm going to try to demonstrate here if the bugs can react to me. Hello. Here we go. Oh. Come on. Eat me. Alright, just give me a second. No, I wanted you to die. You're supposed to die next to it, not away. That's it. Come on, come over here. I know you want to eat me. Okay. How about you? All right. Go turn this thing off before more comes. Alright. Let's disable that for now. Alright, this is gonna be kind of mixed up a little bit. But here we go. Check OBS. It's always doing some dodo-like thing. Alright. Okay, got the game back on. Alright, so I want to demonstrate to you here that this was an ambush, right? When you couldn't build anything around your mobile HQ. Let's consider this as your key structure in this scenario. And let's just imagine that you partially built the outer shell. We're starting off with idea number 2, right? Just imagine that you had built up your base all around the perimeter, right? But then there's like some gaps, you ran out of ore or whatever, right? Bugs slipped through. They broke a wall and they slipped through. People aren't able to manage the corpses, right? Check this out. So now you're trying to build around the mobile HQ. Can't build one here. Can't build one here. You can build one around here. Alright. Let's save time. Let's do that there. So, what do, right? Destroy them. Drones, not really a problem. This is going to take one hit. But the warriors can take anywhere between 1 and 2. So let's check it out. 2, 3. That one probably shared some. Probably shared a hit box with the other bug there. They're pretty close next to each other. Alright, so that took some time away, right? From building. But however, if we build this stuff up first. So this is what I am trying to do now. Let me demonstrate this. Is that I try to do one wall with a, the catwalk or the platform pointing inwards. And then the other one will be outside or pointing outside. Let me get the orientation right. So let me just build this up and I'll explain why. So there are some disadvantages. You can't climb on top of this thing because you don't have that little platform. So this will just kind of allow, this is for the people that spawn inside here during the middle of the match, to get up and out a little bit easier, right? Because you have something to climb on top of right here. However, the thing that I find really annoying now, let's just unbuild this. If people do this, where they build everything's pointing inwards, look at that. You have no walls to jump on top of. Let's actually reverse this one. Give a different perspective here. Wow, did I build everything sticking the other way? Force of habit now. Alright, check it. You ain't gonna be able to climb anything because that's like, no way to go up. If you have the eternal bug where you can't mantle, good luck. Sometimes you can't mantle on top of this thing for whatever, reason. I usually have problems jumping on top of this thing when things are built up like this. But it seems to be doing fine in the VR training simulator, but the actual game itself, I could never jump out of this little pit that people build. You can make the gate, whatever you call it, the small gate, but that's going to attract the bugs. Like I was saying earlier, you don't want the bugs to be attracted to the thing you're trying to defend. It's like kind of a dodo move there. So what other thing I like to do nowadays when I can is build the bunker right next to it. At least have one so that it's a rally point where you and the team can make your last stand on top of. The only thing you need to watch out for are grenadiers and infernos because they'll light it up pretty bad. One hit, even if it's off to the side, is enough to pretty much damage and hit everybody from either of those bugs. So this is what I like to do whenever I can, whenever possible. I like to do a setup like this where some walls are sticking the other way, or I have at least one bunker so that there's enough open air here that hopefully there's enough room for you to actually climb on top of and then get on top of this. Other thing I like to do is like have the entrance to the bunker facing in a different direction so that people can jump on top of it this way. Alright, then you get up on top of that way, which will be this wall here. Alright, so now that we've got like this built up, we can now more confidently build and expand from the inside, right? Alright, so what if someone, this is usually what happens in the game, as soon as you get to the base, people build an ammo crate, they might, put down some first aid stim, ammo, stim fabricator, right? Sometimes put demo charges, proximity mines. You can't get rid of them, right? Most of them. And for example, let's just do the ammo crate thing. Right, what do you do? It's kind of like blocking base building, right? Like now you can't build, but for some reason you can build here. I don't think that should have happened. Because from what I've seen in the actual game itself, you can't do that. Certainly can't do that. Now you can't. I guess it finally registered because this one's kind of in between, but this one's more off to the side, as you can see. So you see, can't build, what do you do, right? Now you're kind of stuck wondering how best to get rid of the stuff. You can shoot it, get rid of the fabricators this way. Shock beacons, you can blow them up. What about this? Let me show you what this looks like to get rid of it. Reload. Shoot. Oh, I guess you don't have to reload, you just shoot. As you can see, this process is taking some time. Alright. This is me going fast. Look at that. It just took so much time. In that amount of time, you could probably have built up a bunker in that time, about 16 seconds. Alright. So now that we got all this stuff out of the way, you can kind of more easily plan out how you want your base to look like, right? I'm just doing something completely random just to give you an idea, okay? So you can do something like this. What else? Right? So random, super random base. Here we go. Right? This is your blueprint. You build it, right? So this gives you a frame of reference to how to build your base. Let me get rid of this stuff. Like, let me just do this. For example, right? If you already built your core up, right? You're doing the build core method. Bugs could be attacking here, and then off to the side, you could be real clever, and you can actually continue building along here as the bugs are attacking here. So you can still expand and multitask when the bugs are coming in at you. Alright. So that's something that I like to do. Easier to recover from ambushes, like the scenario that we had. However, let's unbuild this. I guess the visual examples won't be too long. Longest part will probably just be sitting here watching me unbuild this thing. Ooh, that's bad. This thing still exists. This bug is still here. I should have fallen down. And I can still jump. So, sorry, Howie. Showing this in my video. I think this only exists in the VR training simulator, which isn't I assume, not high priority. Here we go. Okay, so I just want to demonstrate to you what it typically looks like when people build a super duper long is that a ramp wall? I can't tell. Perimeter around the base. Sometimes they don't even make ramp walls and just build all walls. Are you gonna jump on top of the wall? Right? That doesn't always work out. Alright, so we're just gonna keep building. So I want to really demonstrate to you what this looks like. See? You can't build here, but you gotta destroy it. Alright, so now let's take a little bit of time, build this up. You can place these things fast, but you can't build it fast unless you're engineering with the right perks. So as you're building this, bugs can be slipping in behind your back. You probably wouldn't even know it sometimes if you're not paying attention to auditory cues and stuff like that. So you're building, you have no idea what's behind you if bugs are coming in. And then once you turn around, you see like, oh shoot, base is under attack, there's bugs inside. So you're probably trying to, figure out what to do next, right? because the bugs are in and you might be panicking a little bit. It's totally understandable. Best thing to do is ask the engineers on your team, if you have any, to either clear up the corpses or have them try to close off any other gaps in your outer shell. From there, once the base has been sealed off again, that's when you can start worrying about clearing up the bug corpses and then building up your layers like an onion. So just a minute or so more, then we'll be ready to start turning around. Of course, this is always going to be faster in a team environment, but in a solo environment like this, where I'm just testing things out in a controlled setting, takes a little bit longer, but I think it still gets the point across. Alright, so we got the core of this base built up. It's very bare bones, kind of like Whiskey Outpost, right? They didn't have layers, and you know, when that wall started getting breached, either by a hole in the wall or they started coming over, that was kind of game over. Right, let's take, for example, let's say that the bugs tore a hole through this part of the base. You got nothing built around the mobile HQ. You're kind of screwed. Let's be fair. You're kind of screwed. Because the bugs are just going to eat this thing alive. They're going to keep coming in. The corpses will keep piling up because they're probably going to be all around this thing. And if this breach cannot be contained by, you know, someone rebuilding this wall, or an engineer does it, then it's going to be really hard to recover, right? Because as we've seen, it takes a while to clear out those bug corpses if you're having to rely purely on your melee. Let's take, for example, if you didn't have an engineer or a demolisher, it's going to take quite a lot of time to clear up any potential bug corpses. This hole will not be rebuilt as efficiently as an engineer. You can rebuild this thing, but if bugs are near it, they might just turn around and whack it, and then there goes the structure again. Okay, so you're not going to be able to easily build up around it. You know, bugs are coming in, you're on the ground with them, you're getting chomped on. You don't have anywhere else to jump on top of besides the mobile HQ, so that's an issue. If a Guardian had the pheromone perk on, they're sitting on top of this thing, well, they're acting like a gate. They're attracted to the Guardian. They're just going to eat the mobile HQ. The Guardian should, in fact, be right here, guarding the hole until someone closes it up. Okay. So again, if you have any of those items listed here in my list that you saw earlier about, you know, to place things last, it's going to get in the way of the base building. Again, I want to repeat: demolition charges, proximity mines, ammo crates, those things are not going to be able to get rid of easily. Especially the placeable utilities and the shield walls. You're not going to be able to remove them unless the person that placed them picks it up again. And I don't even know if they leave the match, if it stays or not. But hopefully you kind of get the idea of what I'm saying here is that with the outer shell method, it can be quite hard sometimes to recover from breaches and ambushes if no one is on top of the removal of the corpses. And most times people keep expanding outwards instead of inwards. And depending on if you're on horde mode, that can be an issue because you're not going to have that last line of defense around, this key structure. All right. So those are just some of my thoughts and opinions. You can, take it for whatever it's worth to you. But I've been, playing the game for a while since early access. I didn't get it right away, so I wasn't like, first one in. But I've been around for a while. I got this about a month or two after it opened on early access. I've been around for a while, and that's my experiences. So, trying to say is you're watching content from someone that's been around in the game for a while. And somehow I managed to get my brain to think critically about how to best do things here, and so far it served me well. Alright, well, that's it for me, troopers. I don't want to take up too much of your time, and I hope everyone enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave this video with a thumbs up. Leave a comment if you so desire. But most importantly, please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get monetized here so I can make some kind of money to help pay for rent, food, and stuff. Because things aren't getting any cheaper these days, and it would be nice to make a little bit of cash off of my hobbies. But that's a long road to drive down. 1,000 subs, it's a long process. But any support that you can throw my way, I will greatly appreciate it. And if you do leave a comment, I always try to read through everything and respond to it. Even if it's like criticism or some, negative thing, I always try to respond in a nice and, respectable manner. I try not to put anybody down because that's not nice. Yeah. Hopefully this helps you out, troopers. And if you ever have questions, you can always reach out to me on Blue Sky, or you can write a comment, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Well, I gotta go now, troopers, and I'll see you in the field.